They are one of the most talented music groups, everybody, in the world. The a cappella group Pentatonix, I love them so much. We'll get their star later this morning. They're the first a cappella group to ever win a Grammy.
They had the voices the world loved, perfect harmonies, smiling faces, and success that seemed endless. Pentatonix looked like a dream come true, but behind the music, each member faced quiet struggles no one could see. Fame brought pressure, loss, and emotional battles that slowly changed them. From hidden pain to personal sacrifices, their journey was not as perfect as it seemed. The tragedy of the Pentatonix members is deeper than anyone expected, and their story may surprise you. What really happened behind their beautiful harmonies? Join us to find out. The beginning that changed music forever. Well before they became known globally and dazzled under spotlights, their journey had humble origins. It all started with three close friends who found solace in music together. Their journey wasn't rooted in stardom or achievements. Instead, it blossomed in silent school corridors and in tiny instances that eventually evolved into something significant. In an ordinary high school located in Arlington, Texas, three teens stumbled upon something unique. Scott Hoying brimmed with creativity and aspirations. Singing was more than just a performance for him. Each note resonated with his soul. Music transcended a mere hobby. It was integral to his identity. His presence was palpable, filling any room with vibrant energy upon his entrance. Following Kirsten Maldonado's performance, her vocals were distinctively pure and inviting, possessing a gentle yet powerful quality. As she sang, the atmosphere became serene and illuminated, akin to sunlight filtering through a pane of glass. Her voice harmonized effortlessly with those around her, while still maintaining a unique and captivating presence. Mitch Grassi stood out in an exceptional way. His vocal abilities spanned a vast spectrum, hitting pitches that were difficult for most. His performances were infused with a flair and inventiveness that energized each moment. He possessed a daring charisma, was full of emotion, and left a lasting impression. When the trio performed, an extraordinary phenomenon took place. Their vocals harmonized flawlessly without clashing. Each one complemented the others, producing a harmonious and unified sound. It transcended mere singing. It was a deep sense of unity. The bond they had was as valued as their musical journey. In school, each of them sensed a bit of alienation. They possessed greater creativity and expression, and often weren't comprehended by their peers. However, when they united, their sense of misfit vanished. Their refuge became music. It provided solace and purpose for them. They would often find themselves singing wherever they found space, whether it was corridors, unoccupied rooms, or any available spot. During these times, everything around them seemed more gentle. The need to conform gradually disappeared. Over time, they came to an important realization. Their bond brought them not just companionship, but also meaning. Their journey toward a greater goal began unexpectedly. An announcement was made by a nearby radio station about a competition. The reward was modest, yet thrilling. An opportunity to meet the performers of a well-known musical program. Scott motivated the team to join in. They created a rendition of a well-loved track and entered it into the contest. They may not have claimed victory, but something even more significant unfolded. Their message was heard. They caught people's attention. That instant was the beginning of something new. It demonstrated that their words could resonate beyond their immediate community. This experience filled them with optimism. As the days went by, Scott's life started to transform. He relocated to California to pursue a music degree. There, he became part of a renowned vocal ensemble. He expanded his musical knowledge, developed his skills on stage, and encountered various new experiences. Despite his progress, he still cherished the connection he shared with Mitch and Kirsten. After that, a chance presented itself, one that seemed too compelling to pass up. There was a talent show focused on singing, and auditions were set to be held. Scott experienced a profound urge to participate. He understood that he needed support. So, he contacted his longtime friends. Mitch and Kirsten consented to collaborate with him. They faced a dilemma. The contest called for a team of 5. Yet they only had 3 participants. Urgently, they needed to find 2 additional voices. Before long, they came across Avi Kaplan. His vocal tone was rich and resonant, serving as a solid anchor for the group. Whenever he sang, it exuded a feeling of reliability and depth. His presence provided equilibrium and fortitude to the ensemble. Afterward, Kevin Olusola emerged. He possessed an extraordinary ability that distinguished him from others. He mastered the art of playing the cello while beatboxing simultaneously. This combination was unusual and thrilling. His skill introduced a fresh dimension to their music. They gathered as a group just a day before their audition. The clock was ticking, and it felt as though time wasn't on their side. Yet, as soon as they started singing as one, everything clicked perfectly. Their harmonies came together as though they had been unified from the start. The music was innovative, confident, and unique. Rather than merely performing tunes, they transformed them. Recognizable melodies morphed into novel creations under their influence. As the contest advanced, their strength increased noticeably. Every act they delivered highlighted their imaginative flair and cooperative spirit. Their music was both invigorating and refined. It had an elegant simplicity, but carried tremendous impact. Audiences found them impossible to overlook. In winning the contest back in 2011, it seemed like the culmination of their ongoing efforts. However, achieving victory didn't simplify their journey. The music industry was perplexed by how to handle the band. Their approach was unique. There were no established guidelines for a group of their nature. Shortly after they secured a contract with a record label, they were released from it. This was a challenging time. It might have led to the end of their journey. However, rather than quitting, they decided to explore a different route. Which path did they take for the world to know them? Stick around as we uncover. From struggle to spotlight. Losing their record label might have spelled the end for Pentatonix. For numerous bands, such an early setback often marks their downfall. Yet, this wasn't the case for them. Unlike many, their foundation wasn't in industry networks or fortunate breaks. Their roots lay in genuine enthusiasm, remarkable skill, and unwavering confidence in their unique music. Once their agreement was up, reality hit them hard. They realized that their future wasn't something that others would shape for them. Continuing on depended on their initiative. With courage, they made a pivotal decision. They sought out a platform that allowed anyone to express themselves freely. Thus, they chose YouTube as their outlet. In a modest apartment in Los Angeles, they started anew. There were neither grand studios nor extensive crews, just a group of 5 voices, a camera, and immense resolve. Meticulously, they crafted each song, ensuring every note was perfect. The result was a lively, pristine, and invigorating sound. They recognized a key aspect of the digital landscape. It was crucial to engage people instantly. Therefore, their clips were brief, impactful, and energetic. Every act was crafted to captivate viewers right from the start. Gradually, individuals started to become aware. A single video sparked a chain reaction. The band's music began circulating widely online. The number of views increased rapidly. Enthusiasts repeatedly shared their tracks. In no time, millions were tuning in. Their fan base had expanded beyond local borders. It had become worldwide. Pentatonix music fostered a deep bond with their admirers, who are affectionately known as Pentaholics. Rather than merely enjoying the tunes, these fans took active steps in supporting and promoting the group. This dedicated network played a crucial role in accelerating Pentatonix's rise to fame. Forging their own path outside traditional music industry norms, they achieved success. With numerous videos released, nearly each one amassed over 1 million views. Touring extensively, they performed in regions such as North America, Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Their music resonated with audiences globally, spreading happiness and enthusiasm wherever they traveled. They featured in television shows and movies, and even created a holiday-themed special. Throughout the years, they put out a total of 11 music albums. Out of these, 10 managed to climb into the top 10 of Billboard's Top 200 list. Combined, their album sales hit around 10 million copies. Two of those albums soared to the #1 spot. A significant number of their holiday tracks gained popularity and were cherished by listeners. They were recognized with significant accolades. They received 3 Grammy Awards for their imaginative and captivating music. The awards featured a tribute medley, a classical composition, and a unique partnership. Their festive album turned out to be one of the best-selling Christmas albums by a group in recent history. From an outsider's perspective, it all appeared flawless. They gave off an impression of strength, togetherness, and happiness. Their music was seamless, their grins radiant, and their shows compelling. Beneath the flawless facade, an entirely different narrative was gradually taking shape in the background. As they became more famous, the stress increased significantly. With millions of people now observing their every action, there was immense pressure to constantly outdo their previous videos. Every show had to be executed perfectly. What started as an enjoyable and liberating experience gradually turned into a more demanding and serious endeavor. Experiencing flawlessness shifted from being a mere aspiration to a necessity. They perceived it as an obligation to adhere to. Their responsibilities appeared endless. They were perpetually in the studio, continually honing their craft, and constantly getting ready for upcoming performances. The tour durations stretched on, becoming more arduous. Practice sessions grew increasingly demanding. As they achieved more success, the burden of expectations intensified. Every individual bore their private battles. Scott frequently positioned himself at the forefront, carrying a significant burden of responsibility. He dedicated himself to steering the team and maintaining cohesion. The weight of leadership, creativity, and fulfilling expectations deeply affected him. Kirsten encountered her own set of obstacles. Being the sole female in the team, she regularly experienced the pressure to demonstrate her capabilities repeatedly. She bore the burden of scrutiny and the necessity to remain resilient in an environment where she stood out. Mitch had a distinct voice and personal flair, but he experienced unseen emotional challenges. Although life in the limelight can shine brightly, it can also be intimidating. It wasn't always simple to build self-assurance under the constant gaze of the public. Kevin maintained his composure and concentration as he juggled numerous responsibilities. He put in a lot of effort to remain level-headed while pursuing achievements. Traveling and performing globally demanded substantial sacrifices, which he experienced profoundly. Despite numerous obstacles, they persevered. Their passion for music and their bond with one another fueled their progress. Their path wasn't solely focused on achievement. It was an exploration of resilience, personal development, and the balance between happiness and stress. What appeared to be an ideal ascent was actually marked by silent battles and resilient spirits. And who felt it more was Avi. How? Stay with us. When the strongest voice needed silence. From an external perspective, Avi Kaplan appeared calm and composed. He remained serenely by his group, with his rich vocals providing a tulid bass. His demeanor was subdued, soothing, and reassuring. To many, he was seen as the steady pillar of the group, a person who was always steadfast and resilient. However, internally, another narrative was gradually emerging. Avi wasn't the kind of person who sought the spotlight. He didn't crave being in the midst of excitement or receiving cheers. Avi found joy in the basics. Harmony, the natural world, and sincere experiences were what he held dear. To him, music transcended the act of performing or gaining recognition. It represented a profound sensation, an emotional bond, and something intimately personal. As the number of people increased, his surroundings started to transform significantly. They achieved success at a rapid pace. The size of their performances expanded. Their travels extended over longer periods. The calm and peaceful places he cherished became increasingly rare. His life morphed into an endless journey between different locations. Airplanes, buses, accommodations, and performance venues became the norm in his daily routine. Initially, he pushed forward. He maintained his strength for both the band and their sound. However, as time passed, maintaining this momentum started to take a toll on him. Touring for extended months took him far from his family. Performing demanded an energy reserve he occasionally found difficult to tap into. Being on stage constantly pressured him to present an image of himself that didn't always feel authentic. He had a profound affection for his group. They were much more than just colleagues in a band. They were akin to family. This made the situation even more difficult. The thought of parting ways with them was unfathomable to him. However, continuing to live that lifestyle was becoming equally distressing. Supporters started picking up on subtle differences. Avi turned more introverted. His grins appeared gentler, occasionally tinged with fatigue. The way he moved suggested serenity, masking something more profound within. However, many didn't quite grasp his emotional state. They witnessed the flawless shows, the seamless harmonies, and the confident demeanor on stage. They overlooked the burden he was quietly bearing. At first, no one in the group understood the extent of his challenges. Each person was putting in a lot of effort, facing the stress that came with achieving success. The routine of practicing, recording, and traveling made the days seem indistinguishable. Although they shared a tight bond, some things remained hidden despite their closeness. As the days went by, the intensity only increased. Their achievements led to receiving accolades, filling venues to capacity, and attracting millions of fans. However, this success also led to heightened demands. Every show needed to surpass the last. Every second demanded flawlessness. Opportunities for relaxation were scarce, and time to catch their breath was limited. Avi experienced these emotions profoundly. With each achievement, he felt increasingly distanced from the life he actually desired. He longed for calm mornings. He yearned for the comfort of being near his home. He craved the tranquility that used to bring him serenity. Within his mind, there was a calm yet persistent turmoil growing. It lacked intensity and theatrics. Its pace was gradual and unyielding, a sense that things were off-kilter, a sense of disconnect from his own essence. His passion for music made the situation even more challenging. Singing remained a genuine affection for him, and he continued to appreciate the allure of harmonious sounds. However, everything surrounding his musical endeavors had turned into a burden. The clamor, the incessant journeys, and the never-ending expectations started to drain him rather than fulfill him. For many years, he struggled to maintain his place. He tried to reconcile his affection for the team with his desire for tranquility. Eventually, that harmony was unattainable. Remaining meant sacrificing his identity, while departing meant separating from something he cherished profoundly. In 2017, he faced a tough but crucial decision. He opted to leave the group. This was not out of hostility or finger-pointing. Instead, it was rooted in sincerity and a desire to ensure his own health and safety. When he revealed his choice, it resonated with many emotionally. His words carried a weight of melancholy. There were no arguments or bitter conclusions, just a tender farewell infused with feeling. It was an instance that highlighted his genuine nature, sincere, authentic, and profoundly human. The moment hit the fans hard. Avi had been integral to the group's music. His rich voice added depth and harmony to each tune. His soothing demeanor added a unique touch that fans cherished. Without him, there was a noticeable gap that was difficult to fill. The collective experienced this transformation profoundly. They had spent years together creating music, building memories, and evolving. The departure of one member impacted more than just their sound. It touched their hearts and personal lives. Though they persisted, they moved ahead with the shared experiences and the connection they had nurtured, deciding to evolve despite the discomfort that comes with transformation. In contrast, Avi set out on an alternate path. He pursued the lifestyle he had always imagined. He found a renewed sense of freedom. He reconnected with the music that resonated deeply with him. His compositions grew more gentle, profound, and meaningful to him. His journey highlighted a crucial lesson. Departing wasn't an act of surrender. It was the decision to pursue a life that aligned with his authentic self. As time went by, a lot of supporters started to grasp the situation. The choice he made wasn't linked to abandoning achievement. It was centered around discovering tranquility. It was about remaining authentic to his identity. So how did they get over this struggle? Let's find out. Anew. Chapter after change. Avi Kaplan's exit signaled a subtle conclusion, yet it also initiated a fresh start. The ensemble was undeniably different, and they recognized it. They had lost something beyond just a singer. They'd parted with a reliable element that previously anchored them. Within that void, they needed to discover a fresh path ahead. It wasn't simple, but it was essential. Every person started experiencing unfamiliar feelings. Gradually, doubts emerged within them. What was their identity now? What was the significance of the group without the familiar melody? These reflections didn't surface suddenly. They emerged silently, intensifying as time passed. When Matt Sally became the new bass member, he found himself in a position rich with significance. It wasn't simply a job, it came with a legacy, a past, and strong emotions. His introduction generated both optimism and apprehension. Followers were still clinging to the memories of what they had lost. From the start, Matt sensed that burden. He handled everything with caution. His tone was inviting, and his demeanor was kind. Rather than attempting to fill the void left by what was lost, he gradually introduced his own unique style to the band. Through every practice session and concert, he put in significant effort to establish his role. Nevertheless, the path was filled with challenges. Internally, he questioned his place and felt uncertain about fitting in. These doubts were concealed beneath his composed exterior. As time passed, he developed inner strength. His self-assurance increased considerably. Gradually, he became a key contributor to the evolving sound of the group. Scott Hoying kept shouldering a significant burden. Outwardly, he seemed lively and sure of himself. His grin appeared constant, and his enthusiasm was palpable. However, beneath that facade, there was a relentless tension that never truly disappeared. He believed it was his duty to ensure everything was on track. He was eager for the team to progress smoothly. Maintaining the significance of their music was important to him. He hoped their followers would continue to find inspiration. These ideas occupied his mind daily. In 2020, life drastically came to a halt, bringing about a profound stillness. With this change, there was finally room for contemplation after years of busyness. Amid this quiet, Scott confronted emotions he'd long ignored. He started to introspect about his identity, purpose, and the burdens he had been shouldering. In 2023, marrying his significant other provided him with a feeling of tranquility. It was an occasion overflowing with affection and stability. Despite this, he later admitted that the burdens he had borne for years had left him emotionally drained. Although he continued to smile, it now reflected a deeper sincerity. Mitch Grassi embarked on a journey to better understand himself. Known for his distinctiveness and flair, he had always stood out. The group not only provided a platform for him, but also influenced his self-perception. With the pace of life easing, he gained the opportunity to delve deeper into his true identity. As he pursued his solo projects, he unlocked unexpected levels of creativity. His musical compositions evolved into something more profound and intimate. This platform enabled him to articulate emotions that had long been concealed. While this path offered liberation, it also demanded bravery. In front of others, he seemed fully assured. In solitude, however, he felt exposed when trying to be open. It wasn't always simple for him to reveal his true self. Nevertheless, he pressed on. His path quietly illustrated the courage to accept oneself without hesitation. Kirsten Maldonado navigated her own unique journey. As the sole female in the ensemble, she encountered distinct obstacles. There were times when she felt compelled to maintain harmony among her peers. She put effort into fostering unity, uplifting her colleagues, and remaining resilient. Occasionally, she felt overshadowed by other aspects of her life. The community was where she belonged, yet it occasionally hindered her from expressing her individuality. It was only when the pace of life decreased that she was able to rediscover her personal identity. She came back to her individual music projects with newfound enthusiasm. Her music started to showcase her development and resilience. She became more candid about her life experiences. Gradually, she began to express herself with increased confidence and clarity. Kevin Olusola underwent a significant transformation. As life slowed down, he began to reflect more deeply. Fatherhood altered his perspective on all aspects of life. What once seemed thrilling in its rapidity now took on a new character. He started to pursue a more serene and purposeful equilibrium. He found comfort in his beliefs and reflections. This period gave him the opportunity to develop differently. His individual musical works showcased this development. It narrated a journey of transformation, intention, and self-awareness. While he remained a supporter of the group, he developed a newfound tranquility. His sense of self was no longer solely linked to his performances. It evolved into something wider and more intimate. These transformations collectively redefined the group. Their unity was now more than just musical. It encapsulated their lived experiences, challenges, and development. Every voice conveyed deeper significance as each individual had evolved. From the surface, their melodies appeared polished and lovely. However, beneath this, there was a foundation of profound emotions. The path they traveled added depth that was invisible to the eye but could only be experienced through feeling. Their experience wasn't marked by noise or dramatics. There weren't any major conflicts or open confrontations. Their narrative was more about subtle obstacles. It revolved around the pressure to maintain an air of perfection. It focused on the determination needed to continue moving forward amidst internal battles. At the same time, it was a narrative about resilience. Despite facing transitions, they maintained their bonds. In experiencing loss, they discovered a new equilibrium. Under pressure, they figured out ways to evolve. They remained intact. They adjusted. Their travels evolved beyond the scope of music. It transformed into a narrative of individuals discovering self-awareness while maintaining unity. It demonstrated that personal development is achievable even during challenging times. The heart behind the harmony. Over a decade after their subtle inception, Pentatonix remains a beloved ensemble in today's music scene. Their path has been lengthy and evolving. What started as modest aspirations expanded into a reality beyond their wildest dreams. Throughout their adventure, they encountered happiness, sorrow, development, and challenges that measured their resilience. These events influenced both their melodies and their spirits. As time went on, they evolved subtly. Recognition expanded their horizons. Unexpected experiences with loss shaped them deeply. Despite all these transformations, one constant remained. Music served as their enduring bond. It acted as the link keeping them united, even in life's unpredictable moments. To outsiders, they seem resilient and indestructible. Their performances consistently pack venues with enthusiastic supporters. Every year, families look forward to their festive tunes. Their online videos attract audiences totaling in the millions worldwide. Despite the evolution of musical genres, they have maintained their signature style. Their a cappella vocals still profoundly impact listeners. However, beneath this robust exterior, their path has been gentler and more relatable. Back in the day, their calendars were packed and intense. They were always on the go, transitioning from one task to the next. Gradually, they discovered the need to ease up. They started to appreciate the value of taking breaks and living a balanced life. They've begun to handle their tasks with increased attentiveness. Their health and happiness have become a priority for them. Their motivation for making music now stems from genuine desire rather than obligation. This change has introduced a different sense of tranquility into their existence. Scott has evolved into a considerate leader. He continues to have ambitious dreams and strives ahead, yet he now comprehends the importance of maintaining equilibrium. His life has taken on a more stable foundation. He guides others not just with power, but with a sense of openness as well. He has discovered that being transparent with his emotions does not diminish his strength. On the contrary, it enhances his connections with those around him. Mitch is evolving in a distinctly personal manner. His imaginative abilities are boundless. Through music, fashion, and self-expression, he delves into innovative concepts. His path has motivated numerous individuals to embrace their true selves without hesitation. He encourages others to embrace transformation and uncover hidden aspects of their identity. Kirsten has embraced her individuality with a subtle yet strong presence. Over the years, she has been a steadfast support for others while seeking her own identity. Today, she confidently expresses herself. Her songs mirror both her journey and personal development. She demonstrates that power can be gentle and formidable simultaneously. Kevin has discovered a richer purpose. His life has introduced new duties and viewpoints. He has managed to blend his love for music with prioritizing his family and personal tranquility. His serene demeanor helps maintain the group's steadiness. Once unsure of his place, Matt has evolved into a key figure in the group's narrative. He became a member during a transformative period, bearing subtle expectations. Gradually, he integrated by staying true to himself. His contributions introduced fresh perspectives, and his involvement propelled the group towards a more optimistic future. They've realized that balance isn't always flawless. It evolves as time passes. It might fall apart and gradually reassemble. Genuine harmony is built on comprehension, truthfulness, and compassion. Their journey has evolved beyond just creating music. It's about understanding how to expand while maintaining connections. It's about discovering resilience in challenging times. It's about moving ahead, even when the future seems unpredictable. They've encountered numerous obstacles along the way. They've been under the weight of lofty goals. Their group dynamics have shifted over time. They've dealt with private issues that often went unnoticed. Despite it all, they've remained united. The impact they leave behind goes beyond just accolades or hit tracks. It's truly about the lives they've influenced. Their songs have provided solace to many on lonely evenings. They've sparked happiness during festive moments. They've offered courage when facing tough challenges. They demonstrated the importance of authenticity and transparency. They illustrated that embracing change is essential for personal development. Their experiences serve as a reminder that progress is possible even when uncertainty looms. The future for them is uncertain. They might venture into fresh music, novel concepts, or different journeys. As life progresses, more transformations might occur. However, at the moment, they stay united, expressing themselves and collaborating. Their tale imparts a subtle and genuine lesson. Achieving greatness isn't the sole measure of success. It's about maintaining your integrity during the journey. It's also about nurturing relationships with those in your life. Moreover, it's about evolving while preserving your essence. Ultimately, what sets them apart isn't merely their music, it's their compassion and kindness. It's the way they stand by one another during challenging times. It's their decision to persist and move forward no matter the pace. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.